Howdy, everybody. Stephanie here, live from my house. So, I made a quick video, tonight before I left the parking lot, just to kind of give y'all an update on our needs and what we were looking to do, some of the things that we needed at the parking lot. But I was also telling y'all that I was on my way to the community meeting. I took notes for you because I know a lot of people had some questions. I had questions, and I was very excited to go be part of that meeting, or to be there so that I could help folks understand a little bit about what's going on in Yancey County. And so it's late. Sorry about that. It's 10:30 tonight. But I just wanted to go ahead and give you my thoughts and my feelings on that meeting, and go over the notes I took with you. So this may be a longer video. You definitely don't have to stick around for it, but I know a lot of folks have a lot of questions. There were not a ton of people there tonight. The auditorium was not full at all. The community meeting was at the Mountain Heritage High School auditorium, and it was pretty cool how they had it set up. So when you come in, they had all the different people there, answering questions like the Red Cross, Samaritan's Purse. Y'all know I love them. And there was, I think there was a FEMA table. So all these different community partners were there, helping people if they had questions, if they needed anything. So that was pretty cool. When we got into the auditorium, there were 9 people. They had the stage, a bunch of tables with 9 people at the tables. They had Jeff Whitson, the county commissioner. They had Lynn Austin, the county manager. Jeff Lovin with French Broad. Shane Hilliard, our amazing sheriff. Niles Howe, which is the fire chief. Russell Fox, the mayor of Burnsville. Captain Long with the National Guard. Tyler Shelton with the DOT. Antonio Bequest with the FEMA. Kathy Amos with the Yancey County. She is the superintendent for Yancey County Schools. So that was, who was sitting at the table. And I took some notes. So I'm just going to go through the notes and just tell you what they were talking about, and how that went. So my first impression, or at my end impression, how I feel about it is I thought they did really fantastic putting the information together. I was very pleased with our county for having this meeting, this public forum where people could come and listen to how they responded to the disaster. So they started, each person got up and spoke. They talked about kind of what happened the night of the storm, the night before the storm, how they responded. And that was very, very informative. And I was very thankful that they did that. And I'm very thankful that I made the effort to be there. So it went a little bit like this. So the first notes that I have is there have been 1,000 homes and businesses damaged or destroyed in Yancey County. So there has been FEMA money for repair, and there are still about 1,500 people in Yancey County with no power. So that was the first things they talked about. They did talk about that the East Yancey Middle School has a camp, and we've seen that when we go down 19. And in the beginning, they had a lot of people there using it. He said dozens of people a day, but now it's down to about 10 folks a day. But it is costing thousands of dollars a day to keep that going. So that is one of the resources that they are going to close down, because no one is really using that resource. And that makes sense. If it's costing the county a ton of money and no one is using it, shut her down. So the power company, French Broad, and the many associates that came with them have been using this place for the linemen so that they had nice facilities to use. So that was really great. The only thing that I thought was kind of weird, when the chair, let me make sure I'm quoting their positions properly. The county commissioner chair, Jeff Whitson, the only thing that I found strange, and kind of made me feel like, why would he say that? Is he did want us to know that that if anybody got loud or rowdy or disrupted this meeting and this presentation, that they would be removed. He said he would warn people one time, and then after that there were sheriffs in place and they would have them removed. So I just thought that was kind of weird. Like, I mean, we're all adults. Nobody come to be hateful. We just want to know what's going on. So that was the only, honestly, it was said twice, and nobody had ever There was none of that happening, so I just found it strange that was my only, like, why would he say that? But anyway, next. And that was actually the only thing, it caught me so off guard. That was the only thing, that's the only note I even made about anything that he said, because I was so like, what was that? Anyway, so the next guy that talked was French Broad Electric guy. Let's see, that was Jeff Lovin. He is the French Broad Response Outage Timeline Outlook guy. He was freaking awesome, and he knows this county. He knows what's going on in this county, and I was very, very impressed with him and his information. So he said, he was talking about the storm, and he said, all of a sudden on the 26th into the 27th, every meter that they had stopped spinning, and they lost all major transmission feeds, which my notes say that was 9 transmission feeds. So everything went down at one time across 5 counties that they manage, everything in Yancey and Mitchell County. He said Yancey County is the #1 worst hit county of all of the counties that they service, which is 5 in Western North Carolina. That it just absolutely decimated us. And then Mitchell County being the 2nd worst of the counties that were hit. He said that all the poles and wires down Pensacola and South Toe, were just gone, because the way that they, when you're in the mountains, so all of the power lines follow the road, and the road follows the river. So of course the river is what went crazy. And so that's why we just lost everything. We lost all the power. They've had to do all new poles and wire down Pensacola and South Toe. And he said that as the roads are rebuilt, that 3-phase line is following immediately. And he said that they have to replace over 2,000 new poles and hundreds of miles of line. He did say that Pensacola and Cane Creek received the worst damage, and that they are, as soon as these roads are being built, they are running right behind them with the new transmission lines. So that's why it's still important that if you are here just to sightsee or anything like that, just don't do it, because we've got crews out there rebuilding the roads, and they are immediately following it with the power lines. So we want to stay out of their way, because there's still 1,500 people in this county, or 1,500 homes that do not have power, and so they're working so hard to get it to them. He did say that right now they have 3 crews in Cattail. Cattail has a very special place in my heart. And of course, it has been one of the absolutely most destroyed sections of our community. And so I was very glad to hear that they've made it to Cattail, and they're diligently working to get power back there as well. He talked a little bit about the how the crews are working, and the teams that came and have continued to come to help rebuild these lines. And it was just very, I was so super impressed with the French Broad guy that was on that panel. He was amazing. He was very amazing. So the next person to talk was my personal favorite, Shane Hilliard. He is our sheriff, and I am his biggest fan as far as how he has handled the situation. Personally, his family, his mom and dad and his grandmother suffered complete losses of their homes. They watched them float away. His grandma climbed up a mountain. And so even among making sure that our county and everybody here is okay, even while his family was dealing with a massive loss. And I just love it. I have so much respect for this man. And so what he was talking about is that the night of the storm, that they had like 197, 179 calls come in, and then all of a sudden transmissions were gone. He lost all communications, all radio. People were not able to make calls for help, and he was able to get out one call before everything went down, and that was to the Sheriff's Association, and that they absolutely showed up. He said that 19 North Carolina sheriff offices have come in and been in our county helping him. They've been running patrols, they've been helping people, they've been checking on people, doing all the things. And so that was really powerful to me, that we had there's 50 counties in the state of North Carolina, 19 of them sent their sheriff offices up here. And I'm so thankful for that. I'm so proud of him for making that call. He knew exactly who to call, and he got it done. He said that there were 3 police departments that came to help, and all of them were helping with patrols and security and doing all the things that our community needed. And so we're very glad about that. He did say that there were 10 folks that have been recovered out of Yancey County, and that there were 2 that were recovered that were from Mitchell County. So 10 were from Yancey and 2 from Mitchell, and there are still 3 souls missing. And so that was his update on that. And again, I'm his biggest fan. He has absolutely done an amazing job. The next guy that talked was Niles Howell. He is the head of all the fire departments, the chief of all the fire departments here in Yancey County. And one person said we have 9, someone else said we have 8. I'm not exactly sure. So 8 to 9 fire departments. And he said that after the storm hit, and all the transmission lines were down, there was no communications, no radios, that immediately all of the firemen, and we must, he said that all the firemen in Yancey County, they're all volunteers. There are no paid firemen in this county. So all fire departments are volunteers, and they immediately began clearing the roads. So as soon as they could, they were out clearing the roads. The very first thing they really tried to clear was the road to Phillips Knob to try to reestablish communications, because they knew that they had to get those communication lines up. And then he said they had 6 fire departments came to help from other parts of the state, and and then of course all the supplies began to come in, and most of them 2 fire departments, and so that they are still offering supplies on a limited basis. But of course, they are also moving those into a distribution warehouse, to be returned to the county as needed on a per needed basis. I really liked him, and I really liked all that he had to say. They worked so hard. Our EMS, our firefighters, they were just killing it. They're killing it out there, have been, and worked so hard to get our roads cleared, to get to people. They were running and checking on people once communications came up. There were a ton of requests for wellness checks, and so they were doing those things. And the 6 fire departments that came to help were also helping respond to accidents, house fires, things like that. So we know that throughout this the storm and the recovery process, in the beginning, they were absolutely overwhelmed, but they did it anyway, and they worked really hard. So I was very glad to hear him talk. The next person that spoke was the mayor of Burnsville, Russell Fox. And he spent a good bit of time talking about the town water and sewer. So the town was out of water for 17 days because of the raw water intake being compromised and destroyed at the Cane River. So where they brought water in was just annihilated. Their original thoughts were that it was going to take over 2 months to get that water line going again, but they got it done in 17 days. So I'm really impressed. They had engineers on site immediately trying to reassess, trying to get things going. And a new line has to be installed to get to the west side of town. So right now, downtown does have water, but on the west side, so like Altec, Mountain Heritage High School, Cane River Middle School, and Blue Ridge Elementary School, they do not have water. Because they have to bore under the cane to get that water over there. So they're still working diligently on that. I think Russell's message was very powerful. He spoke of his, how worried he was for his community, being a lifelong resident, but being also a resident of the town, that, he's really struggled with checking on the members of the whole county, and how he has spent his time also out within the county. And I really like Russell, and I'm very thankful for all the work he's been doing, and making sure everything was flowing good. The next person to speak was Captain Ryan Long with the North Carolina National Guard. He said that they did have they had troops nearby that had pushed their way up through Little Switzerland as the storm was ending, and so they had, I think he said 5 soldiers that were coming up the mountain trying to get to us, and that they currently have 220 National Guard members on the ground in Yancey County. That's North Carolina National Guard. But they also had additional members come in from Michigan, Virginia, and New York that have been here helping. They are supporting all the efforts, including search and recovery, road repair, and food and supply distribution. They said they have moved 7,000 tons of debris and rock, and they have over 10,000 man hours logged thus far in supporting all these efforts. So and he said that most of the guardsmen and women are North Carolina natives. They come from all of the counties, and so that was very informative. The next person to talk was Tyler Shelton. He is a DOT, and I was really impressed with him. So where they were on Baker's Creek the day of the storm, because they were at their office at 7 in the morning. He said he had 26 employees in his office, and they got flooded in. So they were flooded. They went try to go one way, they were flooded. Try to go another way, flooded. So you could tell that had definitely had a major impact on him. And I really liked him a lot. You could tell how much he cares and how hard he is working to get our roads back, because most of our roads, even my road, was split in half. Half of the roads are gone. We know along every road that's a river, the road is either completely gone or half of it is completely gone. And so I did my best to take some notes with him because he was talking fast. But I was just very, very captivated with him and all the work that he is committed to doing. He also knows this county and these roads very, very well, and is determined to get them rebuilt. So I'm very thankful for him. He said they have done extensive work on the roads and bridges with over 90 contractors that have come to help. Their main thing immediately when they got started was we had 2 bridges damaged, one over the at Jacks Creek over the Cane, which a lot of you know the first 2 weeks that whole side of that bridge was shut down because they had to re-support it. And then he said, knock on wood, hopefully it's good. And I'm like, oh God, I drive over that bridge every day. But he was just precious. So I know he was just trying to make us laugh and handle his emotions a little. And then we have another bridge on the other side of town that goes, the South Toe goes under. That bridge they also had to do some work on, and they're definitely still working on that. And so that was their immediate bridges, which that runs the main Highway 19. That they got those stabilized so that we can use them and trucks can move. He said that the Federal Highway and FEMA is working to reimburse and help pay for the work that's being done by the DOT. And he also talked about some temporary bridges that are being installed. I did not capture all of them. Like I said, he was moving pretty quickly. But I'll just tell you what I did get down. So I'm sure this is not it. Don't think any of this is it. This is just from my notes. So temporary bridges are being installed. Today they started on a bridge at Cattail Creek. So apparently, and y'all know I haven't been back in any of these hollers yet because my soul's just not ready. Although I know it's coming. So Cattail Creek is they started that bridge yesterday. Hickory Springs Road has 2 temporary bridges coming on Wednesday. I think he said it was Culverts Creek and Banks Creek has temporary bridges coming. And when they're building these bridges, access will be cut off for a half a day while those are being installed. So the plan is to get these temporary bridges installed, and then we will be able to utilize those. The community will be able to utilize those to get in and out of their haulers until the permanent bridges are built. And then he said next week's temporary bridges are going to be Bent Creek, Murphytown, Little Creek, and Will Higgins Road, and Rose's Branch, and one at O.C. Whitson. So they are really rocking. They are getting the stuff in here to build these temporary bridges, because that is a huge problem right now for folks trying to get around. They're not able, like the Red Hill Bridge is gone. The Green Mountain Bridge is gone. The bridge down by Poplar going into Mitchell County, that's gone. So there's so many bridges that were absolutely destroyed, and so they are working so hard to get those bridges, temporary bridges in place, so that and then obviously rebuilding the bridges. So he was awesome, and he is working so hard. I have complete faith in. Let me tell you his name again. Tyler Sheldon with the DOT. I have complete faith in him to rebuild these roads and bridges. He's been steady doing it for a month, and I have no doubt in my mind that he's not gonna stop. He's gonna get them bridges built. He's gonna get our roads built. He's got it going on. He's working so hard, so hard. Okay, so then the next guy was FEMA, and that was Antonio Vasquez. So the truth is, I couldn't understand him very well. He said that he was from Puerto Rico, and that he had survived a massive hurricane on his island, and I think that maybe is what has inspired him to become the Disaster Recovery Center for FEMA. So I have a couple notes on him, but like I said, I did have a hard time. He said they are sending people house to house. That they've had folks established in the library in Burnsville and Yancey County, and that they're doing outreach at the fire stations. He said they're using the fire departments to take them out. So I guess at this point, the fire department is assisting the FEMA folks and taking them to locations. He said the Disaster Recovery Center, state and federal, is next to Fred's, and the Small Business Administration is also there with the Red Cross. He said so far there's been 5,092 registrations in Yancey County, and that they have paid out $8.1 million. And so that's all I got out of him. The next person to speak was Kathy Amos, the Yancey County Superintendent. So she talked about the school system and things that were going on there. She talked about the linemen being housed at the Burnsville Elementary School, and then the convenience center at the East Yancey Middle School. And they had the Red Cross at Blue Ridge Elementary School. She did say that they were unable to do remote school because so many families still do not have power, and most families still do not have the internet. So that's why they're not doing remote schooling. She said they're unable to do a seated school because so many of the roads are destroyed. So you can't put a bus on a road that's destroyed, and you can't expect children to come to school when they may not be able to get out safely. So that is why the school is not going back into session yet. She did not indicate a time, or if she did, I may have missed it. She did say the calendar days have been forgiven, and that Micaville is still being inspected. So the Micaville Elementary School has folks coming from the U.S. Department of Education to tour that school in the county tomorrow. So it sounds like there may have been some stuff happen at Micaville, which is right there at the South Toe. We know it probably, there was bad flooding there. That's where we lost the post office there. So that's what I got from her notes, or the notes I took with Kathy talking. And then, so from that section, the next thing was a question portion. So when we went in, there was a lady handing out postcards with a pen and said, hey, write down any questions you have, and after they give their presentation, we'll ask them these questions. So that's the next section of this my notes, okay? And again, this is where the second time they stipulated, if everyone stays calm and respectful, they will answer the questions. If people were not going to stay calm and respectful, they would end the meeting. And again, that was weird, but I understand. But you know, it's not like that here. So I don't know why they said that, but they did. So, matter of fact, here's what my notes are that I typed in. So weird how they are acting about that. Do they expect folks are upset about something? This is the second time it's been mentioned. So because that really captured, like, why do they keep saying that? Because this is such a good presentation. They were really talking about the things that we want to know about and how they responded. It was really great, and then it was weird. So I don't know. Okay, so the first question that came in was, what is the plan for the long-term cleanup? And they said that the Southern Debris Recovery arrived today to begin the debris cleanup. This is long-term scheduled debris cleanup on every state-maintained road in the county. So as long as it's a state-maintained road, they're going to be cleaning that up. And the next question come in about a tax reassessment. So for all the residents of Yancey County, you know, just a few months ago, we went through a massive tax reassessment. A lot of people were not happy with that because their taxes doubled, tripled, quadrupled. So they have been getting a lot of questions well, now our house is gone, or now half of my property is gone, or now the river is behind my house and my house is gone. So they said they are going to have to go back to the state and follow state law on redoing assessments. And they're working to see about another reassessment. So they did ask for some time to get that figured out because they need to go to the state and follow the proper guidelines to kind of see how that's done. So I think that's great. But I would expect for the residents of Yancey County that we are going to have either a new reassessment or something is going to be in the works, because clearly the valuations that were put on our properties 5 or 6 months ago, I think that came out in May. I can't remember. Those are different now. We know there's been a lot of damage. They know there's been a lot of damage. So they are working diligently to try to figure out what's the best way to get a reassessment done, and how can they take care of the county there. So I was really glad to hear that. Then someone asked the question about the donations. So a week or two ago, the county did put out that they are no longer accepting supplies, but that they would now accept donations. And so people, the question was about those donations. And what Jeff Whitson said is the money that has been given, which is about $21,000, will be going to John Miller at the Reconciliation House to go to low-income fuel needs for the winter. So any money that has been raised through Yancey County and their fundraising thing on their website, that is all going through the Reconciliation House and will help support low-income fuel needs for the winter, and that's about $21,000. So the next question that came in was about the fiber optic, which we know French Broad has been working diligently to get us some amazing high-speed internet. Everybody before the storm that had French Broad really, really liked what they were doing. And so what he said is that they are only a few weeks behind the power. So as they rebuild all these transmission lines, the internet is coming. High-speed fiber optic is right behind them. So they're building the roads back. They are putting up the power lines. They're running the internet. So that's really exciting that they're going to keep pushing that so hard to make sure that we don't just have power, but that we also have our high-speed internet back in. Okay. The next question that came in was about the supply distribution. And so what has been happening, and this is, this is something that I can speak on as well, because as y'all know, I've been working with supplies and distribution. Although I did not ask any questions, I didn't have any questions really to ask. I just wanted to be there and see what they had to say. But someone asked about, the National Guard has been collecting supplies, like from the fire departments, from the churches, and they have also collected some supplies from Roses, from everybody. They've asked for supplies from everybody, and so they asked about the warehouse. They said that they are warehousing in the old PRC building in Spruce Pine, and they had enough room for 3,000 pallets, because we did get a lot of stuff in. Y'all know that. I mean, the parking lot itself was insane, and there were so many things that we, like, I didn't need 10 pallets of hand sanitizer. I didn't need 5 pallets of hospital gowns. So there was some really weird shipments that came in, and so they have been collecting those and getting those stored. I've been very thankful to get that stuff out of my space so that I could use that space for actual things that I could distribute to the county. But she said that there was room for 3,000 pallets, and that the federal distribution is only responsible for MREs. So I guess they brought in a lot of MREs. We did get a lot of MREs. The ones that we haven't been able to distribute, I've also went back to that warehouse. She said that they will be pulled out of the warehouse as requested. And then she said that sometimes that this blessing has become a burden because let me tell you who was saying this. This was the county manager, Lynn Austin. She said that the blessings have become a burden because the county is responsible for those donations. And so they're trying to store them and make sure that they are available when it's time to bring them back out. That's what they said in the meeting this evening. She said they're trying to put supplies back at Fred's, but may be delayed when it's empty. And so I think what that means there, at Roses, we've got a pretty good system down, but it's hard to build that from scratch. And that's what they're trying to do with Fred's. They said it is county maintained. Even though you do see the FEMA sites, it's because the FEMA is in the building next door. But they said that Fred's is county owned or county managed. And that's where they're trying to kind of centralize all the supplies and things like that. But they're still really on the struggle bus as far as they run out of stuff. And then they have to work diligently to get that pulled back in. So she did say that 1,000 people a day come through Fred's and get stuff. And then they are also hiring. And if you would like a job at Fred's, they are offering $14 an hour and to please put in an application. So that's what she said there. And then a question came into FEMA. FEMA said that they work closely with the county and the state, and they're trying to do the outreach through the fire department. So if someone comes to your house from FEMA, they probably should have a fireman with them or something of that nature. And then they talked a little bit about the SBA. That's like a small business something. They said there's an SBA website through FEMA. This is a low interest loan for items that insurance won't cover. However, they cannot currently cover until Congress funds the SBA. But they are still encouraging applicants, but there is no actual current funding. So for small businesses that have suffered loss, there is no funding at this time. That is something that has to go through Congress to get the funds to approve that, but they still want people to apply for it, even though you will not get approved. Maybe you'll get on a waiting list or something like that. And so let's see, I'm almost done. We're moving pretty fast. Then someone asked about FEMA and taking property. And so FEMA said that they do not take property from citizens or groups. So you don't have to be worried about that. Someone asked what is being done to clean up the river, and they referred back to the state debris contract and other options that they are exploring. And so they're working diligently to get these roads cleaned up and to get our rivers cleaned up. So I'm super excited about that, because y'all know that river that's just my happy place. I love it. And so the last question was about housing for folks that are in the shelters. And they said that there's 50 homes en route that FEMA is supplying. This is assisted by FEMA putting them on the owner's property or turn county land into, so their plan is to put it on the owner's property, these homes. If they cannot put it on their homes, they will, they're looking into options to turn county land into temporary housing until the owner's land can be repaired. So that's all my notes that I have. Again, I was very impressed with what Yancey County did. I'm very thankful for what they are doing for the county. They have worked very hard to really try to get everything going. You know, there's so many moving elements, so many things happening there for what they're trying to do to get our county moving and going. And I think that they are doing a fantastic job. And I'm very thankful that they had this community meeting so that we could hear how they've been doing it and what the processes and the steps are and what their intentions are along in the recovery process. So I just wanted to come in here real fast. Rebecca commented that Keith McCurry posted the video of the meeting on the Newdale Micaville page. So that's really good. So you can, I'm sure it's also on the Yancey County website. So you absolutely can go watch the full meeting. It was very good. I was very impressed with how they did it. I'm very thankful to receive that information and be able to pass it along to everybody so that they know, because that's what we need to know. We need to know what's going on. How's it working? Of course, I told you my most favorite is our sheriff and all of his staff, all the EMS guys, all the folks that have been there every single day. French Broad has absolutely worked their tail off. I cannot imagine losing. I mean, you could tell in his eyes and his voice how devastated he was when all the meters stopped spinning. I mean, that was very powerful to me, because I think he felt, you know, people that are responsible for our utilities, they feel so responsible for us as well. And so I was very impressed that they were, how hard they have worked to get everything on. They said that so that all these companies that come to help, you know, different electrical contractors come from all over to help us get this stuff going again. And he said that when they've been at the coast or in Florida, they throw tomatoes on them. He said, but that in Yancey and Mitchell County, our residents feed them and love them and ask them what they need. And I love that very much. So they all have been very happy working here and helping our county get our power back on. And I'm so proud of everybody for feeding them and taking care of them so that they would continue to love us and didn't want to leave. And so that was really cool. I was just very impressed with him. I was very impressed with the DOT guy. Y'all know I love Shane. I'm just, everything is just, I'm just very glad. My favorite part was our opening prayer. So my buddy Bradley Boone, he wears many hats. He is the pastor at Concord Baptist Church back in Pensacola. He is a assistant fire chief back in Pensacola, and then he's also still affiliated with the sheriff's office. So he came up and gave the opening prayer, and I was so glad. And that's actually the only person I talked to afterwards. I wanted to see his face and give him a hug and tell him I was so glad he was okay, because he's been back in the thick of it, absolutely handling and getting things done back in Pensacola and Cattail. And so I'm really proud of him too. I'm just so proud of our whole county, everybody coming together and working and doing all those things. So that's it. So that's my report on how that meeting went. I think it went really, really good. I'm really proud of everybody. And I'm just very thankful to be part of this incredible community that is so deeply loved by everyone that has worked so hard to get us back on our feet. So yeah, Logan said we're so thankful for this meeting because all we've been able to go on is gossip for weeks, and that's true. I mean, we're not quite sure, and we're all just doing our best, especially like with what we're doing at Rose's. I think it's a good sign that they don't come see me. That means I'm not causing trouble. We're doing exactly what we came to do with no issues. So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that we're able to do what we're doing, and I'm so thankful to everyone else for doing what they're doing. So just keep loving on us. Keep praying for our community. We have a very long road of recovery to get things rebuilt, but we will. It's not going to stop. I mean, these guys, these men and women, they're committed to it, and they're going to keep working on it, and I believe them, and I believe in them. And this was really good. This was really great for us to understand what's happening in the community and what we can do as members of the community to make sure we're supporting that progress and that forward motion. So that's it. Just look here. I hope everybody's. This is my first time ever doing a live on my home computer. So this is a different process, but I'm very, very thankful for y'all. It was really good. It was really, really good. It was a really good meeting this evening. They even gave out Boston butts when they were done. Yeah, I came home with a Boston butt. Sure did, and it was good. And I'm about to eat some more of it. So, all right, my friends. I thanks for hanging out with me. This has been my longest live yet, I bet, with 36 minutes. But I feel very informed. I feel very comfortable. I'm very thankful for everything that our county is doing. I think they're doing it right. I think they're doing their very best, and I think that their heart and souls are in the right place, and they only want to rebuild us and keep us moving forward. And so I don't feel abandoned anymore, and I'm very thankful for that. And I hope that my fellow neighbors and county members do not feel abandoned, because you're not. They've been working very, very hard, and they're going to continue to work very, very hard for us and to help us rebuild. So that's it. That's it for tonight. I hope you're all having the most amazing evening. It's 11 o'clock. I'm ready for bed. We will be back at Rose's parking lot tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. I forgot my list with me, but you see it in the earlier video. We ran out of a lot of stuff. We're out of a lot of stuff. So we're absolutely getting cars loaded. If you need things, I want to know about it, because we just want to keep getting you everything you need, and making sure that everybody knows they are loved, and do not give up hope. Do not stop worrying. Do not stop trying, and whatever you need. We have all the resources within the county to make sure that people are getting what they need. And of course, Mitchell County, I love you too, and you know you're always welcome. Anything I have is also yours. So I hope y'all are having the most amazing evening. I hope everybody gets some rest, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great night.